What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and we are down here, girl. We are down here to talk about the Real Housewives of Medicine, the Medicine Wives. Shout out to Funky Don Diva, he said calls them the Medicine Wives. About Married to Medicine. This is the fourth episode, I believe, or the third episode. I even forgot what the episode was called. But let's go ahead. I took some notes. There was some funny parts. Overall, the episode was pretty good, I guess. Not too many scenes. It was all centered around Toya having a skip the day um, party where you're supposed to call out of work for the day or whatever, and then come to Toya's house. I was with Simone. She should have called it a day in the life of Mrs. Bush Harris, because this is what I do all day: is relax and then act like I'm mad about my husband driving 5 hours and working 5 hours away. And then like in the middle or towards the end of the episode, Toya and Eugene actually get into it. Where really Toya gets into it. And I don't know if it was the alcohol. I don't know if it was the alcohols compounded with insecurities, compounded with being a baby. Like when I tell you she embodied, like the Aries in Toya is set, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, right? So it's considered the baby, and they typically like things a certain way. They're very come off not immature, but like I'm a baby and I want my way. Tantrums. Like they throw tantrums. Aries. I'm an Aries moon. So Aries throw tantrums, and sometimes because it's fire, it gets really hot. Gets really hot in the situation. And typically for me, I know for me that after my wig blows off, but this used to be me back in the day. If after I get upset, then I'm cool after that. Like, okay, I'm done. And then I always also have my Mars is in Gemini. So I'll be ready to go to war. Do you hear me? I'll be ready to go to war. And when I'm done, and when I've leveled the entire block, then I'm okay. Then I'm like, are we good? We good? I mean, I just have to cuss you out just a little bit. But Toya gives like, and then the way she talks like this, and she's always trying to figure out what to say. And it's always very much, I'm a little baby and I don't get my way. That's how she talks. And I'm like, Toya gets on my nerves. She really does get on my nerves. I think while she might be very down to earth, I really feel like she's has this insecurity when it comes to designer and labels and things like that. I think that there's a deep insecurity there. And I think that it comes out, it like continuously comes out. It's something that she might want to talk to a therapist about. I don't know. But overall, the episode was good. I was trying to see for King's and Quad's scene, was I going to be able to extract any examples of King and the way that he speaks to, where it sounds like he's trying to humble Quad. And I think that's what it is. Because Quad is a very, she's very strong, right? And sometimes unconsciously, men will attempt to make that strong woman weak by negging, right? So it sounds like a compliment, but it's kind of like, wait a minute, was that a compliment? It's a backhanded compliment, right? So I said, because I said I'm gonna call out examples. So I'm not just down here giving King the blues. I'm gonna show you examples, and hopefully editing will, help me out with that, and we can see that, because of course we don't see everything. So I said, whenever I see King on the screen, if he says something out of order that I feel is out of order, I'm gonna document that so that I could come down here and tell y'all. Shout out to my shirt that I got. I don't like these particularly silk screen shirts. But this is Medusa holding the head of a man, and it says girls will be girls. So since boys will be boys, girls will be girls. Okay. And I'm really, I know most people in America, really probably on the globe, have a little bit of body dysmorphia, where I buy clothes like this should be smaller. It's too big. Like look at the room from, I like my arms to be like underarms, more like baby T woman. I think this is man, and I got it large, and so I think it's too big. I don't like the way see this. I don't like that. And then that has to do with the silk screen on the shirt as well. So we'll see. But anyways, so overall, I give the episode, I guess out of 10, I probably give the episode maybe a 7.5, 8. It was not nothing eventful. Just like I said, they just had to get together at Toya's house. So we start off from it continuing from the last episode at Brandy's party. Contessa makes another snide joke about Brandy's party. Simone mentions the word divorce again, and she basically says, Jackie is telling her to be quiet. Quad is telling her to be quiet. And a couple of people have said this, and I'm like, oh yeah, that could be a variable in Simone's, grievance with Quad, is that when Simone wanted to divorce Cecil and all that stuff was happening with Tammy, Quad and Greg were still together, and Quad and Greg, I think, were on their way out. But Quad sat there and was part of the women, um, the treasonous women who encouraged and convinced her to stay in a relationship where she was expressing that she was unfulfilled. When I tell you they down there with the red balloons, the married women, it's almost, and shout out to the married girls, but there are groups of married women who are like, we don't want to be miserable in our relationships by ourselves. We're going to encourage you to stay in your miserable ass relationship. And then here we are. Now Simone could have been rid of Cecil. And I feel like he would have helped her take care of the boys. They would have been able to take care of the boys together, co-parent, but and that would be, to me, I don't feel like until they get around a certain age, I feel like around maybe 20, 22, 21, 22, then you're like kind of backing, you're like easing your way back off with the so much support. I feel like Cecil, his personality enables his sons. And so they're not really motivated by his demonstration. Like they're like all seem very unmotivated, unambitious men. That's what it looks like to me. You understand what I'm saying? So Simone mentions the word divorce. Then her and Heavenly go off to the side, and Heavenly tells her, I fussed my boy out. He got his stuff and he left. Heavenly was drunk. She was like, eyes blinking all slow. I fussed my baby out. She was like, I guarantee whatever's going on in your house ain't worse than what's going on in my house, right? And she was like, I fussed my boy out and he got all his things and left. He didn't disrespect me, but he sure did get all his stuff and left. And she says she hasn't heard from him. Um, then her and Simone sit down and she tells Heavenly, we created this monster. Because Heavenly says the same thing about Alora, the feeling of entitlement and feeling like they're entitled to the things. In a sense, I feel like they are entitled. I'm your offspring. I feel like there is a healthy level that children have a healthy level of entitlement where the parent, like, I'm your offspring. Didn't you have me to take care of me and make sure that when you kicked me out of the nest that I was set up? Isn't that why you worked so hard like this? Did you just work this hard for yourself and your children were not supposed to benefit off of the fruits of your labor? I feel like there should be a healthy sense of entitlement. Like, you did all this work and you're not going to pass it down to us. You're not going to give us a job at your job. I want to be a dentist. It's like Heavenly telling Zach to go somewhere else and find a job. I built this dental facility for me. I didn't build this for you to get into dentistry and then want to follow in my footsteps. Why would you do that? You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense, does it? Right? So it's like, it makes sense. Like, my mom is a dentist. She's very, good at what she does. My father is a doctor. I want to go into dentistry. My mom has a practice. I feel like Yes, like that's to me, I feel like that's a natural course of things. Like, okay, you're gonna work part-time. Like I'm sure if some of your mothers or fathers had a hair salon and you wanted to get in cosmetology, wouldn't you rent a booth from your parent who owned the salon or the barber shop, whatever? You understand what I'm saying? I feel like it's a natural thing to feel like I'm part of this tribe, I'm part of this family. I can enjoy the fruits of your labor. I don't agree with parents making their children struggle, especially if they don't have to. Especially if they don't have to. So she said, "Yeah, we created this monster," and she's right. They did. They did. They created the monster. Dr. Eugene and Toya go for a walk. Eugene says that he's off for the next 5 days. So Toya says she wants to have a little get together. And he said he just worked 7 days in a row. She's complaining. She doesn't like it. Um, she also said, he says if we get Reset Wellness up and running, I won't have to work as much. What's up with Contessa and Scott's situation? Like, what are we going to do about that? And Toya said she did not like the space that they had available for them. Basically, she said a bunch of other shit like we was in the back next to the bathroom and this and that, and all of her offices were on the side of the windows, and Eugene's office was, would have been like towards the back, no windows and anything like that. I'm sorry. Based on like, I love Contessa's ambition, but I don't know. I don't know if I would rent a space from her and Scott. I don't think I would. I feel like that would affect your relationship. So I think that's a good idea that they didn't go forward with that. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It's something about Scott and Contessa that gives me janky. Janky. I don't know. Eugene said that his goal is to work less and to be home more, and that gives him an opportunity to be home more and work less shifts. He does apologize to Toya about being out, and she asked him, "What makes you feel like you need to work yourself until you're so exhausted? And like, who drives 5 hours away for any job?" I honestly think it is odd that he's driving so far away to work. 5 hours is a lot. I imagine it's 2.5 hours there and 2.5 hours back, because she keeps saying 5 hours, but I don't think he's driving 10 hours at all. I don't think Eugene is driving five. I just, something about the way that she's framing it makes it seem like it's 5 hours to and fro. And I think it's 2.5 hours. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Um, he says he's working late shifts. And then Toya says that she's a stay-at-home mom with teenagers, and she I don't want to be I'm basically a single married woman. Let me tell you something. Your teenagers are independent. You're not putting people down for naps. You're not changing diapers. You're not even driving people. Like I said last night on Twitter, the most Toya is doing for them boys is driving them places. Everything else, they can dress themselves, they can groom themselves, they can wipe their own asses, hopefully. They can cook for themselves. They can probably call an Uber or a taxi or something themselves. But like I said, the most, because they don't have licenses, so the most that she's probably doing for them at that age is driving them places. So I could see if Ashton and Avery were 5 and 6 and 8 and 9 and like in elementary school, preteens. I can see that. But these boys are like, I think 11th grade, and neither one has graduated, because I feel like we would have seen something with those boys graduating. So neither one of them has graduated high school. So they're both in high school, very independent. I'm sure they get the school bus to pick them up. You might take them to school. I'm sure they can carpool with friends. I'm sure some of their friends have licenses. They're 15, 16, 17 years old. So I'm sure a friend has a license. You're down there in the South. The kids get their license earlier than the kids all over everywhere else. because it really ain't nothing to do. I might as well get my goddamn driver's license and drive around the place. So 15, 16, 15, you get your driver's permits. 16, 17, you get a driver's license. So Toya's acting like, we need black fathers in the home and this and that. He's providing. He's not a deadbeat. He's not, like he said, I'm not neglecting my children. So, because every time I see Eugene in a scene with his children, they seem very respectful. They seem mannerable, right? They ask questions. They still silly, immature, right? And that's normal. I think that's normal. But it's like they have respect for him, right? I think it's a stark difference between Miles and Mayhem. I don't know what their names are. Whatever their names are, is different than Ashton and Gravy. So it's a totally different scene from the Harris house to the Whitmore house, right? So I don't know. I feel like you're done. You're not done raising, but like your hands are not on them. So I feel like Toya is full of shit with that. I said all that to say that. Um, it's no different for you because your house is being ran to perfection. You get to come home and relax and this and that. Eugene says, you can't have your cake and eat it too. He says, I don't think I can leave the ER anytime soon. Good ER doctors are needed. And she's like, there's a need for good black husbands and good fathers. He says, which is why I took this job so that I can be home more. Like you just see, he said he works 7 days in a week and he has the next 5 days off. So he has a lot of time, like 5 days. That's people, sometimes they just take a vacation, a 40-hour vacation, and use 40 hours of their PTO and go on vacation for a week. So you're off 5 days, Saturday and Sunday, not included. So now do something. I feel like Toya's full of shit. Sorry, I just do. I feel like that excuse, I feel like she's doing it as a way to stroke his ego because based on the way that you interact with Eugene, it makes me feel like he prefers to be, away from the home. You understand what I'm saying? You talk to him like he's a child. And I can't imagine that I could either be here where your big teeth is hollering and your gums are hollering at me like you ain't got no motherfucking sense. When I tell you at the end, Eugene was like, girl, well, you done lost your fucking mind, and was still humble enough to go up to acknowledge how he was accountable, like partially accountable, but he wasn't fully accountable for her behavior. She came out already on one. But even then, he was still willing to apologize first, even though she was completely out of order. So I can look up in your chiclets, in your face with all your chiclets lined up in a row, winter fresh, and you hollering at me and talking to me crazy, or I can go to a place where I am respected, highly respected, because I'm good at being an ER doctor and I'm good at being a motherfucking husband, bitch, and I'm good at being a father. And you seem like you are ungrateful. But I think that that is an act. I really, truly believe that she just wants to be able to holler and scream at somebody. I don't believe that she would be accommodating, loving, and intimate with Eugene for for all 5 days. You want him at home so you can talk to him like a dog. And I don't want to be at home so you can talk to me like a dog because I love you. I love our children. I love what we built. But bitch, you're going to have to understand that I'm not going to be around for you to talk to me like I have a tail. I'm going to go to a place 5 hours away where I am respected and I can talk to people and I can help people and I can help heal people and I can do those things where people are looking at me because I feel like Eugene has the best bedside manner as a doctor. I know that people love to see him coming. I can imagine because he does seem very calm, very patient. Dr. Damon is another one. You could kind of tell in their like personalities, they don't get raw. They're not real rah rah. They're not real immature acting. Damon gives you a little chauvinist misogyny, but we haven't seen any glimpses of like Eugene leaning into his socialization besides the idea that he has a stay-at-home wife. That's the only thing. And that he, like, if she wasn't working for Bravo, he would be paying all the bills. So that's the only thing. Outside of that, the way that Heavenly and all those women want to maintain the idea that they're living in a traditional where they're actually the working, Toya demonstrates or displays a behavior of a woman. She's actually in a traditional template where the man is making all the money or paying the bills or whatever, and you're staying at home. But she's not traditional in the way that she relates to him, right? Y'all act like you're in traditional relationships. You act like you cook all the time. You act like daddy is daddy, right? That's an act. You're not like that. You're not cooking all the time. You're not a homemaker. You're not doing none of that shit. But yet and still, y'all got something to say about the way that I show up in my relationship when I'm really the one that is a stay-at-home wife. Y'all out here working day and night. Now, Heavenly, she got a good setup. Heavenly got it. It's Heavenly. When I tell you the way that Heavenly set her fucking life up in terms of her practice and how many days she works, and she only takes cash, and I think she only works 2 days a week. That's when you know you have been set up. I think she works 2 or 3 days a week down at her dentist office. She only takes cash. It's mostly, I think she does mostly cosmetic type of things, but she only takes cash and she only works 3 days a week. And when I tell you one thing, they may want to act like dentistry is not that you're not a doctor and all this other stuff, girl. Your mouth is the gateway to your health. So what is happening in your mouth can affect what is happening down here. So while the doctors are working on the body, she's working in the mouth, and that's the most important place. Got it? So I remember the first season, um what's her name was trying to act like, having a DDS wasn't being a real doctor, or I don't know, the way that Jackie was shading Heavenly, the first season Heavenly was on. I was like, girl, y'all crazy. I feel like, and dental procedures literally cost an arm and a leg. Like, you literally have to go down to the amputee station and donate your arm and your leg for some dental work. Girl, dentists get paid. They really do. They really do. Don't sleep on the DDSs, honey. Shout out to the dentists. So, being at home is, I'm sure that you can ask many men that being at home is different than being in a hotel. Eugene goes, okay. He was sick of her shit. Sick of her shit. So I didn't take many notes for this. I just put at Jackie's office, Quad and King show up for an exam. She has an ultrasound. King is showing that he is actually reading up on information. He was impressing Dr. Jackie with, the information that he gathered about a woman's body, and the lining of the uterus and all this other stuff. She was like, "Oh, okay, I'm impressed." And he was like, "I read." Did you hear him? He was like, "I read." So during this interaction, what I got from the whole scene was, honestly, this sounds horrible, and I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I'll say it like this: I hope that Quad doesn't have a baby with King. There, I'll say it like that, because if she wants to have a baby, I encourage that. If you want to have a baby, right? You on your Ebony K. Williams, you want to have a baby, hook or crook, it don't matter. I'm gonna go to a sperm bank. I don't want you to have a baby with King. If you want to have a baby, something about, I don't think Quad wants to have a baby either. I don't know what it is. I'll be looking at Quad like, girl, stop playing with us. And you spending all this money, Quadlindria, what's her name? Quadrica, Quadria. Why are you spending all this money? I don't know. King made a comment about Quad's walls. Quad said, I know you fucking lying. You better not talk about my walls. My walls ain't worn out. And did you see? She doesn't trust him to give her a shot. She was like, no, wait, hold on. And he was like, no, I got it. He tried to give her the shot. And then she like immediately grabbed the needle away from him and was like, here, give it. And she was like, here, take it. Get it out of your hands. She doesn't trust him. A little apprehension she has with him giving her a shot. Anyways, so that's all I got from that. I just didn't like the fact that he was like, we in here trying to see what's up with your walls. Ooh, my lips was looking real big from this angle. Anyway, anyway, so Mimi and Steve are in the car with their children, little Stevie and Miss Savannah, who are 18 months apart. They share with us that Stevie has autism. He was diagnosed at 18 months. There were just little peculiar behaviors that he was exhibiting. For an example, she said instead of crawling, he was rolling around the floor. She says the diagnosis is pretty hard for them, and while they're driving, right? So they're talking in their interview and they're showing their scene at the same time. So as they're done talking in the interview, sharing with us that little Stevie has autism, girl, little Stevie slapped Savannah. Now, shout out to Savannah for slapping his ass back, because I don't give a fuck you think you hitting. I don't give a fuck what's going on with your brain, but you're not going to be able to hit me, son. And they need to, instead of directing Savannah to hug him after he hits her, that's almost like it's okay, right? And I think, you want the kids to hug because you're like, okay, hug each other because you guys are getting along. But, I noticed that like my children are 18 months apart. So the oldest one actually thinks he's much older than him. And I have to tell him, you're only 18 months apart, my nigga. Y'all are literally twins. So you acting like you gonna tell him what to do and talk to him with this tone that sounds like you somebody's daddy. No, we're not doing all of that. We have to correct that. But when they were little, you want them to hug right away, like, okay, it's okay. But then I realized one time the Aquarius son, he said, when somebody does something wrong to you and they apologize, do not respond. And he was a little boy when he said this. That's why I said you got to listen to kids. He said, I know y'all have heard this before because I've shared this before, because I thought it was profound coming from a child. He says, when somebody does you wrong, you don't say, that's okay. You know how when people apologize, I'm sorry, and you'd be like, that's okay. It's okay. It's not okay, because they hurt you and they harmed you. That's why they're apologizing. So when they apologize, don't respond with, it's okay, because it's not okay. That's what my kid taught me. Okay. So now when somebody apologizes to me, I'm just like, okay, I accept your apology. It's not okay what you did, but I can accept your apology. And that's the same thing as hugging somebody immediately. It's almost like you accept their apology when he might have hit her like like a little anxious, and might have just slapped her in that way. But they both are going to have to understand you can't hit your sister, and you don't have to hug him. You can be mad at him, but y'all not going to go back and forth hitting each other. We're not going to do that game. So Mimi got into the back seat. Little Savannah got in the front. She started crying, but she did hit him back. And then I was very concerned about how they were going to console her. And I was glad to see that Steve was consoling his daughter. I didn't want him to keep telling her, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, and kind of excusing the behavior, because that sends a message that when somebody hits you, no matter if it's your brother with autism, when somebody hits you, you immediately have to resolve it. And then nobody acknowledges that you were actually harmed because the person has autism, right? So I was really watching. I was like, are they going to acknowledge that she was hurt, right? Or her feelings were hurt? He didn't hit her that hard. But I mean, I don't know how hard he hit her. Shit, it could have been hard. Sometimes those slaps be hard. And she was like, oh, like, and then she hit him back. That's why I was like, yeah, get him, get him. So Mimi and Steve are in their confessional talking about how very hard it is to deal with the child with autism, how hard it is on their relationship as a whole. And let's see, she was like, shout out to the neurodivergent moms and the mothers with children with special needs. It's really tough and it can put a strain on the relationship. And they're both crying about it, um, because it is a sensitive subject. And then it's like, you know, I think most people, and I'm not saying he's unhealthy, but most people, when they're having children, they assume that the child is not going to have special needs. So when the child does, and you notice that the child has special needs, and that's why it's important to like pay attention to the child. Like, wait a minute, he's not crawling, but he's actually rolling on the floor. And while it might be cute, right, he's rolling around as his mode of transportation. That's not that the majority of kids at that age are not rolling around, they're crawling at that age, right? I don't want to say normal because that's not true, but in terms of milestones, if they reach a certain milestone and instead of crawling they're rolling, then you have to pay attention, and the next time they go to the doctor you tell the doctor he's not crawling, he's rolling around, and then they're like, oh, okay, so that then the doctor can say, okay, that might mean something else is going on, let's see what's up. When you're not paying attention to your kids, like I think about little Krishan Jr., he's over there wailing like a cat. He's 2 years old and doesn't speak. And then I turn around and look at Blossom, Cardi B's daughter, and she's like, up, down, up, down. She's not even 2 years old. Up, down, up, down. What did she say the other day? Bon. She was saying like she's bilingual, the little baby, because she was like, Cardi said something to her and she was like, yes. And then she said it again and she was like, see. And I was like, come on, bilingual baby. And like, but if that little baby is like exceptional, right? Like she has a lot of vocabulary words for her age. That's why you talk to children. When you see Krishan, she never speaks to her children. It's always making noises and sounds and shit. It's like, bitch, talk to the child. Because what they're doing when they start talking is just mimicking you. That's all. They're mimicking your sounds and the way that you move. That's what they'd be like, looking at you and like trying to put their mouth on your mouth and on your face and their little kisses and stuff. Little babies are so sweet. But you got to pay attention to them. They cannot be rolling across the floor and you'd be like, oh, that's normal. Yeah, my baby's different. He just crawl. He rolls instead of crawls. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. That's not, we don't see the majority of children doing that. Yes, your child is different because they are rolling instead of crawling, but we need to find out what else is going on. So shout out to all the parents of neurodivergent children and young adults and babies. So Toya is having a get together, skip the work day. Toya says she really doesn't want to invite the women over because they're always talking shit, but she invites them over, and I think that gets the best of her, as we see. She tells Eugene in the morning, she comes and sits down. She was like, I started it though. She was like, girl, let me tell you what happened in the group text. So one thing I do like about Eugene, and I'm sure that y'all out there with partners, your partner is just as messy as you, and y'all like to talk about shit going on in the group chat or going on with the other couples, and they want to hear what's going on, and they're interested, and they go back and forth with you. Eugene, I like Eugene like that. A lot of people call him Eugina and stuff like that, but I love the fact that she can come downstairs and be like, let me tell you what happened in the group chat, and he's like, what happened? So she says that the other night at Brandy's party, somebody left a little Hermes fake bag, right? And she wanted to know whose fake bag is this, and she sent it in the group chat because they left it. She was like, whose fake bag is this? And Heavenly responds, it's mine, but my house is paid for. And then Eugene goes, it should be. You had it for 35 years. And then Toya said, that's what I said. I said, they showed the text. She said, it should be. You got it in 2002. And I said, they there. They together. It was so funny. That was just a cute little moment. Because Eugene was like, it should be paid off. You didn't have it for 35 years. That was cute to me. That was a cute little moment. I was like, you could see the dynamics of their relationship. Like they really do be talking about stuff going on. You know, some people like when you go to your partner, you're like, let me tell you what happened in the group test. And they're like, what happened now? And they don't really seem interested. Eugene was like, girl, tell me what's up. I love it. I'm here for it. All right. So, okay. So then after that, yeah, that was funny. After that, so she calls her home the Serenity Villa, and she wants everybody to feel like they're in the south of France. Now, I don't know, I've never been to the south of France. Y'all let me know, was the backyard giving south of France? It was really decorated real cool. You know, I love oranges and browns in the backyard and stuff like that. My community, our lawn chairs and things are orange and gray. And I just love the way orange looks outside. It just looks so vibrant and bright with the browns and stuff like that, and white. It was cute the way she, had it decorated. She says, I want you to feel like you're around people with money. See, Toya's priorities are literally rooted in a visual representation that I have money. So she's like stereotypical new money behavior. I was going to say something else, but it's stereotypical new money behavior where you're still insecure about the money that you have. So you still feel like you need to impress people with the money or the clothes or the labels that you have. Now, Toya's house is nice. I love it. I love the doors. I love the design of the home. I love it. I love it. I love the backyard. I love the pool little area. You see that woman that was in the pool when the men were going back and forth? And I was like, who's that lady in the pool? She had was in a little floaty and she was going by. I was like, who is that lady? Toya's house, Toya and Eugene's house is really, really nice. Um, Simone and Cecil show up. She says that's when she says you should have changed the title of the party to a day in the life of Mrs. Bush Harris. So Mimi, everybody's arriving. Mimi sits down. They're outside. Mimi puts a napkin down. As she puts a napkin down, Toya is asking her about something that's inscribed on the napkin. But Mimi puts a napkin down on the little side, like a little side thing where she could sit down. What do you call it? I don't know what you call it. Whatever. She was sitting on the side thing, on the side of the wall. She was sitting on the little wall, and she dropped the napkin down and sat on top of it. And then Toya was like, "Girl, what's wrong with you? Why you put a napkin down? My house is clean. You ain't at Heavenly's house." Baby, when they rolled that clip, you better pressure wash this motherfucker. Shout out to Mariah Huck. Girl, we all getting contamination. What she say? You better pressure watch this. This house is nasty. She said, this ain't Heavenly's house. Are you confused? That shit was funny. Heavenly and Damon walk in. Heavenly says, I love her place. Heavenly's one piece was cute. I thought her little gold one piece, I don't know if it was appropriate. Now, maybe you should have worn that gold piece with an afro to that 70s party. Now, that would have been real cute, right? But it was like whatever. I was like, what does Heavenly have on? It's cute, but I was like, I don't know about for this. But anyways, so she's talking about how many homes Toya has had, and she said Toya works hard for her money. I don't know what she do. So that's the joke. She works hard. She works at the same job you work at, girl. Down to the Bravo NBC Universal. Y'all both work at the same job. And high key, I wouldn't be surprised if Toya got paid more than them. She's been on. She's an OG. The only OG on there is the only person who's not really an OG is Heavenly, really, and Contessa and Mimi. They came later, but Heavenly's been around since season 3 or 4. Contessa's been around since. Did she come on the same time Heavenly did? I don't know, but Toya probably gets paid a lot, like right on up there with Jackie and Simone. I assume. She's the only one that's technically married to Medicine. Heavenly is married to Medicine. Nobody else is married to Medicine. The husbands are married to Medicine, but the wives, they're the Medicine. Catch that. Heavenly said, "Look at this nigga got his dick out." So she had servers. She had men servers and women servers dressed in bathing suits, and they were serving food. So they were making a big deal about the man having on like a little Speedo, little whitey tighty Speedo. The woman had on a white bikini. They coming out with the food, and Eugene wanted to know where the women were to serve the men. When this one server walked by him and he had on some regular shorts, I was like, he didn't have his uniform. He had on some looked like some regular gym shorts, but he had some like fruit on the little platter, and he was like, "Nah, dude, you could go ahead, go on over there." He was like, the dude came over there trying to serve the men. They were like, go. I think you want to go over there. That's what Eugene told him. So Toya gives a tour of her house. The house is spectacular. That's all the women are saying. The cherry blossom tree inside of the closet. Now, I don't know. All I could think about, who has to dust that? Because obviously it's not real. So whatever material the cherry blossoms are made of, they have to be dusted. Otherwise, it's going to change colors. It's going to be like a real season inside of your closet, girl. It's just obnoxious, and it's like it just is an example of someone who just doesn't really know what to do with the space. Um, and then like putting a tree in their closet. I thought it was cute. I love a cherry blossom. I have cherry blossoms on me. I have a cherry blossom tree on me with some crows sitting in it. But I love a cherry blossom tree. But in your closet, like, to me, it's just like you didn't know what to do with this space. I don't know. I'm not Toya's tacky. Like, she's tacky. She's new money tacky. She's new money insecure and tacky. That's what it is. She acts like she has new money, and I saw an old picture of Toya and Eugene from their wedding. They look so young. When I tell you, they look so young. So the server comes over there. They were like, "Come over here." The male server, "Come over here. Jackie wants to see you." And Jackie was looking. She was like, "Okay." And then someone was like, "You probably delivered him." So they get ready to play a game. Toya wants to play a game. She sets out these hula hoops on the floor. She wants to explain the game. All the men are sitting around. Anila and Dr. Kieran are there. Kieran looks good. He kept his sunglasses on, but he looks really good. Anila was there too, and there was a very, very 1 second moment between Toya and Anila, and I was like, Toya, you ain't shit. Anyway, and well, I'll get to it. So all the men are sitting around, like in this little, section over by the pool. They're all sitting around, and you could tell who the head of the house is because Eugene is right in the center of the men. That's why I went back and looked, because I watched that particular scene a few times. And I was like, look at Eugene is like sitting in the center, and the men are around him. And I really felt it was fucked up that she tried to dig at him about being a leader. Like, your man is an ER physician, and you're worried about, I don't know. Toya was out of order. So she wants him to stand up with her and tell the rules of the game to the men. And then she tells the rules of the game to the women. It's going to be boys against girls. Eugene, she says, Eugene, no, says, no, you got it. She was like, Eugene, come up here and help me, explain the thing. He was like, no, you got it. We'll understand the rules. She was like, Eugene, I need you to do the husband and wife thing right now. And you know what I want from you. Now, mind you, there's probably about 20 people there, 25 people, give or take. I don't think it's more than 30. I definitely don't think it was more than 40 people there. I say about 30 people there. I'd give it 25 on the side, because Toya had her regular friends. It just wasn't the cast. Her other friends were there. They came in. Everybody's walking around. Everybody's having a good time. So as she's talking to him like this, from school, that when the peanut gallery gets to going, it literally riles the people up in the situation, especially the one who's being punked, like Toya was punking Eugene. So when somebody's like, "Oh, right? Because she was talking, she got fly with him, and she was like, I need you to come up here and do the husband and wife thing. And I know you know what I want from you. And he was like, yeah, I got it. And then he was like, right. And she was like, eye contact, please. And he was like, when I tell you he screwed his face all the way the fuck up.
Uh-oh. I need the wifely and husband attention. Okay. And you know what I need from you. Ooh. All right. Eye contact, please.
Because there is an ongoing thing about the way that Toya speaks to Eugene. Remember when she told his ass to go eat a biscuit when Mariah said she was gonna pico de gallo. She was gonna pico de gallo heavenly. She cut a glass, she broke a glass, and she's like, I'm gonna pico de gallo that hoe. That same night, Toya told Eugene to go eat a biscuit. You don't tell your portly husband to go eat a biscuit. You don't tell your husband who's shaped like a teapot to go eat a biscuit. Girl, what is wrong with you? You done lost your mind. You have. You have. Eugene says, we'll get over this. I've been married for 18 years. Toya says, forget it. Never mind. How are we ever going to get what? How are we ever going to get them to get up? Oh, that's what, because the man, she wants the man to like, the women were like, when she was going off on Eugene, she was like, eye contact, please. And they were like, wait, like, Toya, no, wait, don't talk to, like, basically don't talk to him like that. This is not the time and the place. And mostly the ones who were more vocal about her behavior were Heavenly and Mimi. And they were like off, it looked like they were off to the side, but they were really close to her. The way one camera direction made it look like they were far behind her, but then another camera direction, they were like really close to each other. And she was like, well, what am I supposed to do in order to get the man to get up? And they were basically like, don't talk to Eugene like that, because now when the people start doing ooh and ah and stuff like that, now y'all want to start performing. And now this man has to decide on whether he's going to allow his wife to punk him in front of all his male friends, or he's just going to let it ride and then figure it out later. He chose the second route. Some men would choose the first route and try to embarrass you because you've embarrassed them, and they will get into their ego like, but you're not about to embarrass me in front of all my boys. I'm about to let you have it, right? So he did not. He maintained a lot of restraint, except for his face was screwed up. Like, I don't know the fuck you think you talking to. So she was like, oh, you hear Steve in the back say, why is your wife talking to you like that? And then one of them was like, this is training camp. And then what's her name said, this is kind of cringe. That's what Simone said. Then Curtis told Curtis tells King, is he ready for this? And then King said, that's why you don't move into a woman's house. First of all, this is these people's house together. That's number one. Number two, what the fuck are you talking about, Curtis? Is King ready for this? Was Jackie ready for you to traipse that big booty bitch all through Hartsfield Jackson Airport? Was she? Was she ready for you to embarrass her in front of in the land of all the lands? Girl, I was like, why did he say that to him? You don't have nothing else to say? Shut up, Curtis. So Heavenly off to the side and was like, so Toya, she goes in the house, forget it, never mind, I'm done with you. She said something to Eugene, and then she like repeated herself, like almost like she was happy she told that to him. She said something to him like, oh, I can't remember what she said. I got to go back and watch it. But she said something to him like to dismiss him, and then she repeated herself like she was kind of happy she said that. I was like, Toya is a fool. Like Toya literally acts like she was throwing a tantrum. Someone said, I can't imagine how she talks to him in private. I think that was Jackie. Heavenly said that. No, she's always talked to him like that. Eugene obviously likes it. Eugene comes into the house and she was like, no, I don't want to talk to you. And he like, guides her by her elbow. And he was like, no, come over here. What the fuck was you talking about? I said, uh-oh, Eugene's cussing. She was like, don't fucking cuss at me. You don't like when I cuss at you. So that must be a thing with them. That's what I'm saying. You're not gonna have me at home so you can act like this all the time, bitch. I'd rather be at the hospital caring for sick people who appreciate me. Fuck you. Eugene, he tries to take her off to the side, and then she starts yelling at him in front of everybody. But then when you saw when after they stopped going back and forth, when they panned the camera around, everybody was gone. They went outside. They went somewhere, but they weren't in the scene, baby. All them people left. And she's like telling him he's not a leader. He can't make the men get up and play the game. So that proves that he's not a leader. She said, no, but what happened was you took it personal because you obviously don't feel like you are a leader. Eugene was looking at her like, I want a montage of Eugene's facial expressions in their interview when Toya is talking, because I literally feel like she'd be exaggerating most of the shit. And every time she lies or exaggerates, Eugene's face changes. He's literally her lie detector, her bullshit detector. Because he'd be like, when she says stuff, one time, she likes to act like she's this sex positive sex kitten vixen. And one time she said something, he was like, you don't be doing all that. I was like, see, I told you, girl, you might think you sex positive, but you ain't making Eugene climb up no motherfucking walls. And he ain't making you climb up no goddamn walls. So I don't know who you sex positive with, maybe with the shower head. I don't know. But girl, he was like, you don't be doing all that. I was like, see, get her. So she told him, you're not the leader that you think you are. He says, even the ladies next to you took it personal. She says, fuck them bitches. I was like, oh. I would have peeked around the corner and be like, what did I do? Wait, what you mean? What did I do? Fuck them bitches. You gonna compare me to those women? They can't even be themselves around their husbands. I said, ooh, she has a point. You see how they act in front of their husbands. And a lot of women do that, right? They act a certain way around their husbands. And then when their husbands are not there, of course, act a different way. But we see Heavenly act like she's this Molly homemaker, and she's serving her man. That's not real. Even though she will spout that misogynistic 1950s late ass bullshit, she doesn't live like that. So because you don't live like that while you spout that violent bullshit, because it is violence when you tell a woman that she needs to be, and you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that. No, she does what the fuck she wants to do. She don't have to work, whether it's 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. She don't have to. And she's spending all her time trying to prove to y'all that she is worthy. And even though y'all are not impressed by all the designer things, right? Her other friends might be impressed by that. You see when somebody walked in, Quad and Angel, is that her name? Yeah, Quad and Angel walked in and she was like, girl, I just bought that in green or something. She said something about her outfit. So she wants to relate to people, like she said at the beginning of the party. I want people to feel like they're around people with money. So she's telling the truth. The women don't act like themselves in front of their husbands. Mimi and Steve say being married gives you a mirror up to yourselves. She says, we have gone through it. We've gone through therapy. We've done the things because we used to be just like that, going back and forth, all rah rah. It doesn't work. Eugene says that he shouldn't have made a joke, because he did make a joke when they said, like, get all the men up to be a part of the game. He was like, I'm gonna write everybody a doctor's note to excuse them out of physical activity. Did you hear Damon was like, thank you, I would like that. Thank you, thank you. Damon don't want to do nothing but eat some food and go to bed and then go out and help people again. Eugene and Damon, like I said, besides Damon's chauvinistic attitude, him and Eugene are a lot alike in terms of loving what they do as doctors. And you do want, shout out to all the doctors and the medical professionals and RNs. Shout out to the RNs for real. But shout out to the doctors and all the people who do the training they need to do what they need to do. And then they're also good people and compassionate and care about people. You know what I mean? And really want to, every time I think about, especially nurses, I get really emotional. Look, I'm about to get emotional because they do a lot. Nurses do a lot, and I feel like they literally they have to do it like they measuring shit, making sure they're giving you the right dosage of medicine. They really have to be on it. And then they also have to like tell the doctor everything they did so the doctor can have the notes. Like nurses, shout out to all the RNs out there because, and then they're compassionate and kind. Whenever you meet a nurse who's kind and compassionate, like literally they're in this field to serve and to help. Like when you get that out of a doctor or a nurse, you don't want them to go away because there are doctors and nurses who don't give a fuck, you know? So when you find one who cares and actually cares about their jobs and took their Hippocratic oath and takes it very seriously to where like I'm here to serve, I'm here to help people. Unfortunately, in the United States, I feel like doctors have their hands tied unless they like delve into like holistic kind of modalities in addition to their medical training as well. But in this system in the United States, they're not. Unfortunately, doctors aren't really here to heal. They're just really here to mask things, and that's just in order to keep you alive enough to when you know that you can still work, basically. So whenever you meet a good doctor, shout out to them. And Damon and Eugene give me like they're really good doctors, right? Like I don't know, like Scott, he might be a really good doctor, but he doesn't give me bedside compassionate. He doesn't give me that at all. Eugene and Damon really give me that. Simone gives me that she is really good bedside. Like I feel like she would y'all will be in there laughing and cackling, and she's very down to earth, right? I just saw a video of them singing girl throw the wham in a circle. Yeah, they had all had on matching pajamas. All the cast of Married to Medicine, Heavenly was filming them, and they were all partying. They all had matching pajamas on, all the women, and they were, you know, take me through there, take me through there. And then Heavenly goes and sits by Toya, and Toya's like, where do they want to go through? And Heavenly was like, girl, I don't know, but they want to go through there. Maybe you've been to all the places, but they want to go through there. Take me through there, take me through there. And then and then Heavenly kept saying, let me find Angel. Where's Angel at? She finally found Angel. When I tell you the Angel's making her booty hop, I was like, yes, Angel, go. And she was like, take me through there, take me through there. So it seems like they're all in like on good terms. They were I don't know whose house they were at, but they were all dressed in like those black and white plaid. I'm not black and white, black and red, like lumberjack pajamas. They all looked very, very cute. So they're all in a good space. Um, we've gone through therapy. Eugene admits that he was wrong. He said he shouldn't have made a joke and that he'll apologize. And King says that Quad apologizes with an attitude. I wonder what Quad's moon sign is. Because Quad also gives me the type, I'll cuss you out and then we cool after. I cuss your ass out. So I wonder if she has a fire, because I know she's a Taurus, but I wonder if she has fire in her big three. Because apologize, what did he say? Apologize with an attitude. She might be a Capricorn because Capricorns they don't typically apologize. Them Capricorns and Aquariuses right in there, they typically, I don't know what that's about. I need to do some research on that. They don't like to apologize for things. Capricorns and Aquariuses. I wonder what Quad's moon sign is. I wonder what it is. So that's what King said. A Quad apologizes with an attitude. I don't even know in why he injected that, because Eugene was talking about apologizing to Toya, and he was like, yeah, but the apology can't come with an attitude. Maybe he's telling Eugene don't have an attitude with Toya when he apologizes. Maybe that's what that was about, because I was like, what is King talking about? King's very comfortable. I do like that though. I don't like when the men come around, like the men on Housewives of Atlanta, the husbands, their husband group was so tired, and it was like the husbands on Married to Medicine in New Jersey, they really add to the show. They really add to the show. The husbands on Atlanta, I mean, I don't know. They were so busy trying to uphold like this machismo and try to be tough, and we don't sit too close to me. And I don't know. It was very weird. It was like Todd, Ralph, like all them weird ass niggas. They all Leos too. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? All the men on that show were Leos, down to Greg Leaks, baby. Greg, Todd, Mike, all of them Leos. Good luck. Good luck to the girls, honey, and the girls. Contessa goes upstairs because Toya and Anila go upstairs in Toya's closet. Contessa was too eager to tell Heavenly and Mimi to get out. I was like, what you got against Mimi? And then at first I was confused real quick and I was like, okay, wait, you just had an attitude with Brandy. Why all of a sudden you want to kick Mimi out? Why you want to kick Mimi and Heavenly out? Because Toya felt stupid after she went off on her husband in front of everybody. Because you're not going to beat those allegations that you talk to your husband like he has a tail. You're not beating those allegations anytime soon, sweetie. So now, so now you want to flip the switch and act like Heavenly and Mimi were talking shit when actually Heavenly, when you started getting loud with your husband, Heavenly was like, Toya, don't do that. Don't do that. She was telling you not to do that. She was not egging on. Now, I did hear at one point, but I don't think that Toya heard her. Um, uh, Heavenly turned around. She was like, oh, is there trouble in paradise? That's all she said. But all them oohs and ahs did not come from them. I heard one ooh, and I think that was Jackie off camera. Like, ooh, and then they tried to say, and then even Mimi was like, girl, lean into your feminine. Girl, just rest, relax, abort. Don't go off on your husband, girl. Rest in your feminine. I was like, okay, come on. It's about your covenant. Remember that? Remember she was telling Sweet Tooth, it's about your covenant. Now she wants Toya to lean into her feminine. Girl, she needs a no, Toya needs to lean into her masculine and bring order to a chaotic situation. That's when the masculine comes in, not a man, masculinity and masculine energy. Masculine brings order. I love to look at when primates, especially gorillas, when they are in conflict, and you could see who steps into the masculine, whether it's a female gorilla or a male gorilla. The one that comes in and brings order, like tries to get the gorillas to stop fighting, that's masculine energy. That's why they have an idea that men are more logical and they bring no, that's just a masculine energy brings order. So if she were to lean into her feminine, she'd actually get more loud and hostile. That's femininity. It's just like that's femininity, right? Masculinity brings order. That's why you need to embody both. When you're a person who is hyper masculine, that means you're out of balance with your femininity and you're a threat to people around you, right? People are not safe around somebody who leans too far into their femininity and is not balanced, like yin and yang, with their masculine and feminine. And that in yin and yang, the dark part, that's feminine energy. That darkness and chaos and not knowing what's going on, that's the feminine. The white part is the masculine. But in each of those sections, you have a black piece and a white piece. You need to have both in order to function. That's why, like again, I say people who are imbalanced and hyper masculine and having to do the most just to prove that they are masculine, they're imbalanced. That's why they're not safe to be around, because I don't know, because you're not balanced. So if she were to lean into her femininity, she would have gotten more chaotic, right? You guys are thinking femininity under the ideas of the patriarchy, where they align femininity with soft and pink and white, right? And gentle and resting, right? Feminine energy does not rest. You know that, right? So when you telling people you want to rest in your femininity, you're resting in masculinity. That's restful. Female energy, feminine energy is chaos. The creative energy is chaos. Like the unknown, like I don't know what's going to come out of this, right? All I keep picturing is just darkness and like a white noise sound. That's feminine energy. So if she were to lean into her feminine, she would have tore that damn house up. y'all be using your root of the way that you speak about masculinity and femininity is rooted in patriarchy, and they once again have an upside down idea of what it embodies. Contessa goes upstairs and she says she's willing to kick Mimi and Heavenly out. Yeah, I said Heavenly says there's trouble in paradise. I said Heavenly, no, and then what's her name said lean into your femininity. Quad and Contessa tell Toya that Eugene is downstairs being apologetic, and she says only to other people are around. And then she goes, okay, well that's fine. Let me talk to my husband. Let me talk to my husband. So I thought she was gonna come down there and say, oh, hey, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's a little too much to drink, girls. Let's get back to playing our game. Eugene, I'm sorry. Like she should have came out and acted like that. But no, instead she was like, are you guys listening? Are you guys listening? Because y'all like to listen to all the negative shit. And those of you who aren't my friend, who like to sit there and watch me and Eugene go back and forth and all that bullshit, acting like your relationships are all that. And they're not. Don't make me list all the shit that y'all going through. I said, oh, I thought you was coming down here to be nice to the people. Aries? No, she came down here to wreck to be in her feminine. I came down here with more chaos, bitch. It's like, God damn, Toya, baby, when she told that man eye contact, please, and he was like, whoop. I was like, you done fucked up. You done fucked up. And Eugene is gonna go to work and be like, I gotta work 14 days in a row. So as Heavenly and Damon were leaving, they couldn't open the door. She has one of those doors that it opens, but it's like the hinges are in the middle of the door. Contessa called it a cantilever. I can't remember what she called it, but there is a design. Y'all will get down in the comments and tell me. But the hinges of the door isn't on the door frame. It's like in the middle. So when the door opens, the whole door opens like if you think of the mind of a sliding door, like a sliding glass door, but the way that it moves the part that would be hinged to the wall, it moves out like this. So when you open the door, Heavenly and Damon trying to get the fuck out of there, right? Because the girl told her, you don't give a fuck about me and blah blah blah. And Damon and Eugene, Damon is the one that kind of mentored Eugene, so they do know a lot about. I imagine that Heavenly and Damon know a lot about Eugene and Toya, especially Eugene is a little younger, and probably at the beginning of their marriage and stuff like that. You just don't know, but him and Damon are cool with each other. They're kind of cool with each other, and it goes back a long way. So when Heavenly and Damon were trying to get out, Mimi and Steve are leaving as well. I was with Steve, like when Eugene and Toya were arguing. He was over there looking around the corner so he can go back and tell Mimi. Because when he was like, "Is this a normal thing between y'all, or is this just something that just happened?" And then he was like, "You trying to psychoanalyze me?" And they're like, "Yeah, because you've been married to a psychiatrist. She's not a psychiatrist, psychologist too long, a therapist." And so Steve's outfit was cute. He had on a little Louis Vuitton set, and it was like pink, like a coral, like a flamingo color with sky blue. Is very Miami Vice logo. Like if you think about the Miami Vice logo, I'm gonna take you back. I'm gonna have to go back in your Rolodex. It's like fluorescent blue and that flamingo pink. That's what it was. It was Louis Vuitton, had logos all over. It was really cute. He was like, I done wasted my good outfit to come here, and these people want to. And Toya really messed up her own event. Nobody messed that up but you. And I think it's because she's insecure. I think she's insecure. She didn't want those women at her house. They talk about how she doesn't work. They talk about how she talks to her husband. And you really just gave the people ammunition to be like, see, we told you she talks to him crazy. We weren't just making that up. We weren't just talking shit. She talks to Eugene crazy. And like they can literally, I hope they do it at the reunion, show a montage of the way that Toya talks to Eugene. They can't make a montage of the way that Eugene talks to Toya because he doesn't speak to her. He's not rude. Now he might stick up for himself like he did. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He came in. She was like, don't fucking cuss at me. I was like, uh-oh. But I feel like he's very patient with her. Um, yeah, I feel like he's very patient with her. Hold on, let me get this out of here. And as they were leaving, Mimi was like, no, you can't talk to a person when they're in that state. We have to give them time to relax. And that's what Damon was like, I'm leaving because I respect them. I mean, we could stay and try to go back in, because King came out and was like, why don't you go back in and try to rectify this and resolve it. And then Mimi was like, no, because she is into one-sided conversations. I love that they have her on here because she can really call out the behavior. She was like, she has one-sided conversations, so she's not going to listen. And if she's doing that to her friends, you damn sure believe that she's doing that to Eugene. That's how I feel. And you're not beating those allegations that you talk to your husband crazy, because you do talk to him crazy. And in a patriarchy, when women who abide by those patriarchal rules see a woman talking to their husband like that, they're like, girl, what? Oh my God, you don't know your place. Toya don't know her place. That's how those other women are like, oh, you talking to your husband like that, girl? So Toya don't know her place, and the girls are always talking shit. So I feel like Toya was already insecure. She said she didn't want to invite the women over. She was insecure about the situation, and I don't know. We'll see what's gonna happen. They're obviously cool because they were just with each other with matching pajamas. You understand? So y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Girl, I'm telling you, every time Eugene, she said, eye contact, please. I was like, bitch. Me and Eugene make the same face at the same time, like, who's this bitch talking to? Bitch, have you lost your mind? Look at Eugene. Look at Eugene. Girl, what? Girl. She said, eye contact, please. Listen to this.
I need the wifely and husband attention. Okay. You know what I need from you. Ooh. Okay. Eye contact, please.
Even Kieran and Damon was looking like, what in the hell is going on? Because nobody talks to their partner like that. You don't even talk to your kids like that in public. Like, girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? But she is like a little self-absorbed person. And I really feel like she wants Eugene to be home so she can talk to Eugene crazy. I'm not coming home for you to talk to me crazy, girl. You're gonna have to get a handle on that. I'm off for 5 days. And on the first day off, you talking to me crazy in front of a house full of guests that we have invited everybody over for the first time, and you sabotaged it because you wanted to be in control of me, but then tell me in the house, talk shit and tell me you're obviously not a leader. But you was just trying to get me to stand up and eye contact and all this shit. Obviously, you ain't a leader neither. So Eugene has a lot of patience. I'm telling you, he has a lot of patience. But even when they went for a walk and he was like, okay, it's almost like he's annoyed with her. You're asking me these things, and while I'm with you, you're showing me that maybe I should only have 4 days off in a row. Maybe I should go back to work early. So Toya ruined her own party. So we're gonna see what happened on the next episode. We're glad that they're all cool. They were all just, in their matching pajamas and things and having a good time. So y'all take care of each other, protect your energy. Let's get down. Oh my God, I did not realize that this is over an hour. God dang it. Take care of each other, y'all. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.
Eye contact, please.